guys, Wandering Whisper 29 here. I've decided to do a video entitled 100 Things We Didn't Know This Time Last Year. It's by the BBC News website, but it was actually updated way back in December 2005, so it might be slightly out of date, I don't know. I haven't read through all of the facts, so I'm just as sort of new to it as you are by hearing it. And there's 100 things, so I apologise if some of it's complete rubbish now, but hopefully you'll forgive me. Anyway, let's get started. Number 1. The UK's first mobile phone call was made 20 years ago, in 2005, so now that would be like 26 years ago, when Ernie Wise rang the Vodafone head office, which was then above a curry shop in Newbury. Mohammed is now one of the 20 most popular names for boys born in England and Wales. While it's an offence to drop litter on the pavement, it's not an offence to throw it over someone's garden wall. An average record shop needs to sell at least 2 copies of a CD per year to make it worth stocking, according to Wired magazine. Nicole Kidman is scared of butterflies. I jump out of planes, I could be covered in cockroaches, I do all sorts of things, but I just don't like the feel of butterflies' bodies, she says. WD-40 dissolves cocaine. It has been used by a pub landlord to prevent drug taking in his pub toilets. Baboons can tell the difference between English and French. Zookeepers at Port Limp Wild Animal Park in Kent are having to learn French to communicate with the baboons which have been transferred from Paris Zoo. Devout Orthodox Jews are 3 times as likely to jaywalk as other people, according to an Israeli survey reported in The New Scientist. The researchers say it's possibly because religious people have less fear of death. Okay. The energy used to build an average Victorian terrace house would be enough to send a car around the Earth 5 times, says English Heritage. Humans can be born suffering from a rare condition known as serenamelia, or mermaid syndrome, in which the legs are fused together to resemble the tail of a fish. 1 in 10 Europeans is allegedly conceived in an IKEA bed. That's quite funny. Until the 1940s, rhubarb was considered a vegetable. It became a fruit when US custom officials, baffled by the foreign food, decided it should be classified according to the way it was eaten. Prince Charles broke with an 80-year tradition by giving Camilla Parker Bowles a wedding ring fashioned from Cornish gold, instead of the nugget of the Welsh gold that has provided rings for all royal brides and grooms since 1923. It's possible for a human to blow up balloons via the ear. A 55-year-old factory worker from China reportedly discovered 20 years ago that air leaked from his ears, and he can now inflate balloons and blow out candles. Lionesses like their males to be deep brunettes. I already knew that, and I also know that lionesses prefer lions to have the bigger mane. The bigger, bushier, and more manly the mane is, the more attracted the female lions will be towards the males. The London Borough of Westminster has an average of 20 pieces of chewing gum for every square metre of pavement. The bosses at Madame Tussauds spent £10,000 separating the models of Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston when they separated. It was the first time the museum had 2 people's waxworks joined together. If all the Smarties eaten in 1 year were laid end to end, it would equal almost 63,380 miles, more than 2.5 times around the Earth's equator. The equal sign was invented by 16th century Welsh mathematician Robert Record, who was fed up with writing is equal to in his equations. He chose the two lines because no two things can be more equal, which is spelled in a really strange way. NOE 2 THYNGES can be MOARE, and then equal with an extra L and E on the end. The Queen has never been on a computer, she told Bill Gates as she awarded him an honorary knighthood. One person in 4 has had their identity stolen or knows somebody who has. I don't. The length of a man's fingers can reveal how physically aggressive he is, scientists say. In America, it's possible to subpoena a dog. That doesn't surprise me. The 71 million packets of biscuits sold annually by United Biscuits, owner of McVitie's, generates 127.8 tons of crumbs. Nelson probably had a broad Norfolk accent. 1 in 4 people do not know 192. 1 in 4 people does not know 192, the old number for directory inquiries in the UK, has been abolished. Only in France and California are under 18s banned from using sunbeds, really. The British buy the most compact discs in the world, an average of 3.2 per year compared to 2.8 in the US and 2.1 in France. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wink then, I just sort of twitch. When faced with danger, the octopus can wrap 6 of its legs around its head to disguise itself as a fallen coconut shell and escape by walking backwards on 2 other legs, scientists discovered. Why would an octopus, otherwise known as a sea creature, want to describe itself as something that's found on land? It doesn't make sense. There are an estimated 1,000 people in the UK in a persistent vegetative state. Train passengers in the UK waited a total of 11.5 million minutes in 2004 for delayed services. That sounds about right. Just gonna have a drink of tea. I just dribbled tea on myself. Nice. Anyway, the next fact. Restaurant is the most misspelled word in search engines. Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho has only been in an English pub once to buy his wife cigarettes, which is now illegal to do apparently. The Little Britain wheelchair sketch with Lou and Andy was inspired by Lou Reed and Andy Warhol. The name Lego came from 2 Danish words, leg godt, meaning play well. It also means I put together in Latin. The average employee spends 14 working days a year on personal emails, phone calls and web browsing, outside office official breaks, according to employment analysts Capita. Cyclist Lance Armstrong's heart is almost a third larger than the average man's. NASA boss Michael Griffin has 7 university degrees, a bachelor's degree, a PhD and 5 master's degrees. Jesus. Australians host barbecues at polling stations on general election days. The average Briton will spend £1,537,380 during their lifetime, a survey from Insurer Prudential suggests. Okay. Tactically, the best Monopoly properties to buy are the orange ones: Vine Street, Marlborough Street and Bow Street, or Bow Street, however you pronounce it. Britain's smallest church, near Malmesbury in Wiltshire, opens just once a year. It measures 4 metres by 3.6 and has 1 pew. What is it open for? Why does it bother opening? The spiciness of sauces is measured in Scoville units. Rubber gloves could save you from lightning. Sorry, I'm yawning. I yawn in all my videos now, it just seems to be the norm. Whispering makes me tired. C3PO and R2D2 do not speak to each other off camera because the actors don't get on. That's quite funny. Driving at 159 miles per hour, reached by the police driver cleared of speeding, it would take nearly a third of the mile to stop. Does that even make sense? Sorry, driving at 159 miles an hour, reached by the police driver cleared of speeding, it would take nearly a third of a mile to stop. Okay, so if you were driving at 160 miles an hour, it takes a third of a mile to stop. Right, I don't know why they put the middle bit in there. Anyway, Liverpool has 42 grains redeveloping city centre. A quarter of the world's clematis come from one Guernsey nursery, where production will top 4.5 million plants this year alone. Tim Henman has a tennis court at his new home in Oxfordshire which he has never used. What a waste. Only 36% of the world's newspapers are tabloids. Okay, we are halfway through. That's number 15, so hope you're still with me. Look at my eyes, they're massive. I don't know if you can see me do this, but I'm going to make my eyes shake. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, because obviously I can't see because my eyes are shaking. But yeah, anyway, let's carry on. Second half. Parking wardens walk about 15 miles a day. You're 10 times more likely to be bitten by a human than a rat. It takes 75 kilograms of raw materials to make a mobile phone. Deep Throat is reportedly the most profitable film ever. It was made for $25,000 and has grossed more than $600 million. I wonder why. Anthony Worrell Thompson swam the English Channel in his youth. You'd never be able to tell looking at him now. The pyruvate scale measured pungency in onions and garlic. It's named after the acid in onions which makes cooks cry when cutting them. Not just cooks, anyone. I cry like a baby when I cut an onion. It's pathetic. The man who was the voice of one of the original Daleks, Roy Skelton, also did the voices for George and Zippy in Rainbow. The average guest at Buckingham Palace garden party scoffs 14 cakes, sandwiches, scones and ice cream, according to royal accounts. Oliver Twist is very popular in China, where its title is translated as Foggy City Orphan. Newborn dolphins and killer whales don't sleep for a month, according to research carried out by the University of California. You can bet on your own death. Seems a bit peculiar. MPs use communal hairbrushes in the washrooms of the Houses of Parliament. What if they've got nits? It takes less energy to import a tomato from Spain than to grow them in this country because of the artificial heat needed, according to DEFRA. New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg's home number is listed by directory inquiries. Actor James Doohan, who played Scotty, had a hand in creating the Klingon language that was used in the movies, and which Shakespeare plays were subsequently translated into. The hotter it is, the more difficult it is for aeroplanes to take off. Air passengers in Nevada, where temperatures have reached 120 Fahrenheit, have been told they can't fly. Giant squid eat each other, especially during sex. Nice. The Very Hungry Caterpillar has sold one copy every minute since its 1969 publication. Still one copy every minute in the last 40 odd years. That's a bit silly. Firstborn children are less creative but more stable, while lastborn children are promiscuous, says US research. That's true for me and my sister. She's older than me and she's a lot more sensible. And I'm the one that's done all the naughty things in life. Reebok, which is being bought by Adidas, traces its history back to more than 100 years to Bolton. Jimi Hendrix pretended to be gay to be discharged from the US Army. That's quite funny. A towel doesn't legally reserve a sun lounger, and there is nothing in German or Spanish law to stop other holiday makers removing those left on vacant seats. 1 in 6 children think that broccoli is a baby tree. Oh, that's cute. I might ask my friends' kids what she thinks broccoli is. It takes a gallon of oil to make 3 fake fur coats. Each successive monarch faces in a different direction on British coins. The day when most suicides occurred in the UK between 1993 and 2002 was the 1st of January 2000. Really? That's interesting. The only day in that time when no one killed themselves was 16th of March 2001, the day comic relief viewers saw Jack D win Celebrity Big Brother. 1 in 18 people has a third nipple. The section of coast around Cleethorpes has the highest concentration of caravans in Europe. 57 big biros are sold every second, amounting to 100 billion since 1950. George Bernard Shaw named his shed after the UK capital, so that when visitors called, they could be told he was away in London. Former Labour MP Una King's aunt is agony aunt Miriam Stoppard. Britain produces 700 regional cheeses, more even than France. The actor who plays Mike Tucker in BBC Radio 4's The Archers is the father of the actor who plays Will Grundy. Japanese knotweed can grow from a piece of fruit the size of a pea. It can flourish anew if disturbed after lying dormant for more than 20 years. Hecklers are so called because of their militant textile workers. In Dundee. Doesn't explain why, but it just says that. Pulling your foot out of quicksand takes a force equivalent to that needed to lift a medium-sized car. A single mother spud from southern Peru gave rise to all the varieties of potato eaten today, scientists have learned. Spanish flu, the epidemic that killed 50 million people in 1918 or 1919, was known as French flu in Spain. 50 million people. Jesus Christ. Ordinary, not avian flu, kills about 12,000 people in the UK every winter. Croydon has more CCTV cameras than New York. Probably needs them. You are 176 times more likely to be murdered than to win the National Lottery. Well, I suppose you'd have to play it first, which I don't do. Koalas have fingerprints exactly like humans, although obviously smaller. Bill Gates does not have an iPod. A lot of people don't have an iPod. I haven't got an iPod. The first traffic cones were used in building Preston Bypass in the late 1950s, replacing red lantern paraffin burners. Britons buy about 1 million pumpkins for Halloween, 99% of which are used for lanterns rather than for eating. I don't know anyone that eats pumpkin. The mother of stocky cricketer and this year's Strictly Come Dancing champion, Darren Gough, was a ballet dancer. She helped him with his pivots. Nettles grown on land where bodies are buried will reach a foot higher than those growing elsewhere. That's interesting. The Japanese word chokukambo describes the wish that there were more designer brand shops on a given street. And fact number 100, musical instrument shops must pay an annual royalty to cover shoppers who perform a recognisable riff before they buy, thereby making a public performance. Cool, so there you go, there's 100 things. It was kind of more of 100 facts, really, rather than 100 things we didn't know this time last year. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.